few obvious points of housekeeping to get out of the way. Number 1, not everyone will find these memorable. Number 2, not everyone will find these wearable. Number 3, I believe that you must love the fragrance you're wearing. If so, it will make you more confident, and as long as you're also respectful and well presented for the occasion, your scent will greatly contribute to your memorability. Now, I'm using the word memorable synonymously with words like interesting and unique. Just meaning that these fragrances we'll be talking about don't smell like a majority of everything out there on the market. Now, a lot of you guys are going to combat this, saying,
well, not a lot of people wear fragrances, so any fragrance can be memorable.
And you're not wrong, I gotta admit. But even those who don't regularly wear fragrance, or perhaps have never worn fragrance, have smelled it on at least several people throughout their life. And while they might find most fragrances good as a result, that doesn't mean they won't be able to recognize something definitively different as pleasant and memorable. If it smells like almost nothing they've smelled before, that alone makes it memorable. And as long as it doesn't smell like poop or dirt or urine or vomit, you're probably in the clear. But again, make sure you love the scent. I mean it. Love that scent.
I'm watching you.
Finally, if you don't feel like this list applies to you, that's fine. You can just keep it moving. But it applies to someone. Let's dive into these fragrances. These are in no particular order. I'm going to alternate between fresher profiles and not fresh profiles. We have a range of those, but you'll see as we go. First one up here is Winter, coming from Dasein. This is simply gorgeous. A beautiful combination of authenticity, realism, transportiveness with wearability. It smells like being out in the forest on a cool winter morning. You smell woods, you smell pine. It's coniferous, but it's also fresh and spicy. Lots of cardamom in here. There's something invigorating about it, but there's something also very calming about it. I do think that, again, in terms of the wearability, you could wear this anywhere, anytime. This could be a signature scent easily. That is Winter from Dasein. When the owner of this indie niche fragrance house reached out to me, they said, my fragrances are unique, but wearable. And that really caught my attention. I'm like, okay, let's see. They sent them to me. I had to agree. I smelled each one and I'm like, wow, this smells beautiful, high quality, different, but totally wearable. This was the first one I smelled, and I think this is still currently my favorite from the house of Untamed fragrances. This is called Shaped by the Wild. Put it simply, this is a very somber smelling fragrance. It smells like dark, smoky woods and leather. Now that may sound brash, but it's very smooth, almost creamy, and round, and it's a quiet scent, even though it is one that will stay on the skin a while and it will radiate in a beautiful way. It's going to stick around because it's an extrait de parfum. So again, it is these very earthy, rich elements, stuff that you would not really expect to love on your body, but the way it comes together in such a smooth way, it has no jagged edges. It is so easy to smell. It almost smells like you've just been out in the forest, almost like a very natural scent, but there's something really beautiful about it. That's Shaped by the Wild from Untamed Fragrances. Here's one you don't have to pay much for, probably $40 or less. From Lalique, we have Equus, which I believe means horse. And this, in my opinion, is a little bit of an alternative to the discontinued and highly regarded Gucci Pour Homme 2. But this is a much more woody version. You have a lot of juniper in here, which brings a kind of a piney, fresh, woody component. Lots of violet leaf as well, bringing a freshness, kind of almost metallic in a way, but this is primarily dry woods with a little bit of this interesting, very natural sweetness to it. It's like being out in the foliage in a way. There's something very natural and dry and woody about it, but very, very wearable. Smells like a very easy to wear woody fragrance for someone who wants a calm and collected profile that's not going to scream and get in someone's face. That is Equus from Lalique. I think I'm finally saying that name right. Still not sure. Once the camera turns on, I always forget. There you go. Up next, from the house of Argos fragrances, not their newest release, but the one prior to that. This is called Danae. Good Lord, this stuff is gorgeous. This is one that anyone can wear. This is more on the sweeter, warmer side of things. Almost ambery in a way. It's kind of dark, but there is a little bit of a citrusy freshness in there. There's a little bit of this like light woodiness that's mostly kind of creamy and smooth. and a lot of this warm, sticky, sweet cistus, which is a resin, and it comes off as kind of seductive, honestly. There's something about this that just lingers in the air in a beautiful way. It's a very potent scent, so it will fill a room if you're not careful. However, it is different. It is a little bit unique. It doesn't smell quite like everything out there, especially sweet scents, because most sweet fragrances that are popular these days are not using cistus as their primary source. They're using vanilla and tonka bean and things like that. So I really do appreciate this fragrance for being sweet, but in a different way. Again, very alluring, very inviting, kind of attention grabbing because of its performance and because of the scent profile. Really beautiful stuff. Use the code FRESH10, get you 10% off any purchase from Argos. I don't recommend blind buying this. It's not cheap. Get the sample pack, see what looks good to you. I think they have 7 fragrances that'll be shipping with that pack now, but I can't control what you do with your money. If this sounds absolutely breathtaking to you, then choice is yours. Here's a fresher option from Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Gentle Fluidity Silver. I've talked about this one a lot. I've worn this fragrance at least a dozen times since I've gotten it, and it never fails to captivate me. It also never fails to get me some very positive attention. This is an easy to wear fragrance. It's so easy to wear, but it is quite unique, and it is comprised of just a handful of very simple elements that come together in somewhat of a different way. We do have warm and sweet vanilla and amber kind of working together. We do have some spicy coriander. We have some beautiful kind of sensual soft musk and juniper berry, which is kind of this bright, almost sharp herbal quality, almost like a gin note to the fragrance that really brings that freshness. Incredible stuff for being so simple, and also performs quite well. Again, another easily signature worthy fragrance. Check it out if you haven't already. Get a sample. Again, not cheap here. Get you a sample of Gentle Fluidity Silver. I've been talking about it for a while for a reason. From Zaharoff, this is a fragrance that a lot of people might combat the notion that anyone can like this because it is a very specific profile. This is signature rosé. It is based on rose, and not everyone loves rose. In fact, I used to hate rose back in the day. I often wonder what I would have thought of this fragrance if I had smelled it 5 years ago, back when I could not handle rose fragrances. I have talked to numerous people who don't like rose but love this fragrance. I keep saying it, this is a fragrance for rose lovers and rose haters. This is a rose incense, so it is primarily based on this kind of smoky, wispy, warm incense note, but that is a little bit fresh, with several different types of rose working together to create a very opulent floral quality that is not overly powdery or overly floral, honestly. And you have some other elements that kind of fill out the composition, making it smooth and creamy and rich, like some vanilla, like some sandalwood perhaps, maybe even some oud, giving it so much depth. Opulent is the best word. I already said it, it's the best word to describe this fragrance. But it's something that's so easily wearable. When the weather's not too hot, I think you can wear this as a signature scent. Grace, my fiance, wears this all the time. I think it smells wonderful on her every time she wears it. And every time I've worn it, I've gotten some really great feedback. So that is Zaharoff Signature Rosé. Gonna have a link down below where you can check out Zaharoff, get you a sample. We got another indie brand. This one is based up in Canada. They are called Monsiage. And this is a stunning, very beautiful, very understated, but very different fragrance that they call Aviation Club. Talked about it a handful of times before. This is a fresh tobacco fragrance, a fresh green, kind of metallic tobacco. That might sound strange, and it is, but it doesn't smell strange. It works. There's also a little bit of a warmth from coffee, maybe some kind of whiskey or something in there, some kind of dark, almost sweet liquor note that is very subtle. Simply beautiful. Again, a little understated, not gonna scream. I wouldn't want it to. Can easily function as a signature scent. It smells very inviting. It smells different. It will get people's attention when they get close. Check it out. One of these days I'll say the name of this fragrance correctly. I think the name of the brand is called Leo Bolario, which is Italian, I think, and the fragrance is called Me Are. That's what this is. And a lot of people say that Frederic Maule's Musk Ravageur was inspired by this fragrance. Can't speak for that, but they do smell quite similar. This is definitely a cooler weather profile that is very different. It may not be for everyone, but I think as long as you're not spending all your time smelling it up close, when you get this stuff in the air, there's something really magical about it. Warm, sweet, and spicy. Lots of cinnamon, lots of other spices. lots of vanilla and amber. There's something very handsome about it, but also very alluring and kind of sexy about it as well. Great quality stuff, and the amazing thing is you can find it under $40. Really great price. I have a good friend of mine, one of my patrons, to thank for this, so thank you so much. Really digging this stuff. Check it out if you haven't already. It's kind of a classic. It is a little bit old school, but also a little timeless. Coming from Fragrance Du Bois, a fragrance I definitely recommend sampling because it is not cheap. Just like all of their fragrances, they are not cheap. Sample this. Do not blind buy this bottle. But this is good stuff. Oud Blue Intense. Not a blue fragrance. It carries a freshness, but it's almost like the illusion of freshness. There's nothing overtly fresh here. Nothing overtly aromatic, nothing overtly citrusy, not even blue or aquatic. It is mostly fresh by way of its resins. There is this combination of resinous notes that are a little sticky, even a little bit sweet, but not in an edible way, but bring a bit of a freshness to it. I think you do have a splash of mandarin orange when you first spray it on, but that goes away and it's still kind of fresh. It's still a little bit airy. It doesn't smell like soap or fresh out of the shower, or not even something I would wear in the summertime, but it does not smell like dark resins and wood, even though there's oud in here too. A very interesting composition, but something totally wearable, almost a little bit familiar, but reminds me of really nothing else explicitly. Check out Oud Blue Intense if you haven't already. And the last fragrance in this video, a very simple combination of ingredients that come together in a very different way, coming from the house of Caron. This is called Aimez-Moi, Comme je suis, which means love me as I am. Tobacco, hazelnut, vetiver. That's mainly what I get. There's a little bit of a freshness in here, but it is woody and dry. You do have this almost sweet nuttiness from hazelnut, but it's not really that sweet. It's not overtly like vanilla. There's a warmth to it, and that tobacco is a little earthy. It's very handsome. It's a little bit different, but it is so wearable. If I was wearing a suit every day going into the office, this is an easy scent to stand out. That's not overtly fresh like your Bleu de Chanel or something like that. It's warmer. It is more inviting. It is, again, different. And not a lot of people are talking about it, but so easy to wear. That is Aimez-Moi, Comme je suis from Caron. My French is getting better, but
Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's not.
all right, that's it for me. I want to know, have you tried any of these fragrances? If so, do you consider them wearable and unique? Simple as that. Please consider joining the Fresh Squad by subscribing. It'll be the easiest thing you've done all day, and perhaps the most inexpensive thing you've done all day because it's free. But nonetheless, thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.